Welcome back to Quiet Ireland. I'm so glad you're here. Tonight there is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to solve, and nothing expected of you. Together we'll spend a peaceful night in an old lighthouse on Ireland's rugged west coast. Outside, the Atlantic rolls beneath the dark sky. Rain taps gently against the windows. The wind circles the stone tower, and every few moments the warm beam of the lighthouse sweeps silently across the sea. Inside, the fire glows softly. A kettle simmers. Thick stone walls keep the storm at a comfortable distance. So settle into your bed, allow your shoulders to soften, and let every slow breath carry you further into this quiet place. The stone steps curve gently upwards around the inside of the tower. Your footsteps are slow and unhurried. The fire has found its steady rhythm now, its warm glow dancing across the old stone walls. Outside, the Atlantic continues its endless conversation with the cliffs below. Every wave rolls in with quiet determination before melting back into the darkness. You lift the warm mug of tea into your hands. The cup is comforting against your fingers, its gentle warmth spreading slowly through your palms. The scent of fresh tea mingles with the faint smell of peat smoke and polished timber. Nothing asks anything of you tonight. There are no messages to answer, no clocks to watch, no lists waiting for tomorrow, only the lighthouse. Every few moments the great lantern above turns once more, sending its beam out across the sea. You cannot see every fishing boat or distant island, but you know the light is finding them just as it has done for generations. You decide to climb the narrow spiral staircase. Thick walls surround you. Halfway up, you pause beside a small window. Rain beads upon the glass. Beyond it lies only darkness, broken now and again by white foam, where the sea meets the rocks far below. The wind whistles gently around the tower, but inside everything feels calm. You continue climbing until you reach the lantern room. The green lens turns silently before you, its polished glass catching the warm light and casting soft reflections across the room. You watch it complete another slow circle, then another. There is something deeply reassuring about its patience. The lighthouse never rushes, it simply keeps shining. You settle into the keeper's chair for a while, watching the beam sweep over the ocean. If someone far away is crossing these waters tonight. Perhaps they see this very light and feel a little safer knowing it is here. Perhaps in its own quiet way, this lighthouse has always been a promise. A promise that even during the darkest nights someone is keeping watch. You smile softly at the thought. Outside, the rain begins to ease just a little. The wind still moves across the cliffs, but now it seems less like a storm and more like a gentle breath passing over the land. Your eyes close for a moment and simply listen. The turning lantern, the distant waves, the whisper of the wind, the soft crackle of the fire waiting downstairs. Each sound settles around you like another warm blanket. There is nowhere else you would rather be. For now, this lighthouse is home, and tonight that is more than enough. The rain taps gently against the windows. The wind sighs around the tower. Far below, waves fold over one another in the darkness. None of these sounds demand your attention. They simply exist, surrounding you with the peaceful reminder that the world carries on without asking anything of you. You watch the fire. Midnight comes quietly. There is no clock striking the hour, only the gentle certainty that the night has settled comfortably around the lighthouse. Outside, the sea continues its endless rhythm, each wave arriving with a soft roar before slipping back into the darkness once more. You make your way down the spiral staircase again, one careful step at a time. The old stone beneath your feet has carried generations of lighthouse keepers, each walking this same path through long winter nights. Back beside the fire, the room feels even warmer than before. The kettle still holds enough warmth for one last cup of tea. You pour slowly, listening to the comforting sound as it fills the mug. Steam curls gently upwards before disappearing into the quiet air. You settle into the old armchair. Its cushions have softened over many years, welcoming tired travellers and patient keepers alike. As you sink back, you notice how the storm no longer feels wild. It has become part of the evening. Orange flames rise and fall lazily around the blackened peat and seasoned wood. Every now and then a small ember glows brightly before fading once more. Time seems to slow. Perhaps that is one of the gifts of places like this. Without traffic, without bright screens, without hurried footsteps, only the simple rhythm of light, warmth, and sea. You begin to imagine all the people who have looked towards this lighthouse over the years. Sailors returning home, fishing boats finding safe water before dawn, families waiting for loved ones to arrive safely. The lighthouse never asked who they were. It simply offered its light, quietly, faithfully, night after night. The thought brings a gentle smile. Outside, the clouds begin to thin ever so slightly. Between them a few stars reveal themselves, sparkling briefly above the Atlantic before drifting behind another passing cloud. The lantern continues its steady sweep across the water, across the rocks, across the sleeping coastline. You breathe slowly, in and out. Each breath feels a little deeper than the last. The chair supports you completely. The fire keeps its quiet company. The lighthouse keeps its silent watch. There is comfort in knowing that some things never hurry. The tide arrives when it is ready. The wind softens when it chooses. Morning will come on its own. Until then, there is nothing to do except rest. Perhaps your eyelids have already grown heavy. Perhaps your thoughts have become quieter than when you first arrived. If they have, let them drift like clouds crossing the moon. No need to hold on to them. Simply let them pass. The storm is already beginning to move further out to sea. The rain has become little more than a gentle whisper against the glass. Inside the lighthouse, everything remains warm, safe, and peaceful. You wrap the blanket a little closer around your shoulders. The fire glows softly. The beam turns patiently overhead, and the night carries you gently towards sleep. Somewhere beyond the horizon, morning begins its slow journey towards the coast. You cannot see the sun yet, but the darkness has softened. The Black Sea has become a deep blue, and the line where the ocean meets the sky is beginning to reveal itself once again. The lighthouse continues its faithful work, though its beam now feels gentler against the growing light. You stand quietly by the window. The storm has passed. Only a light breeze remains, carrying the clean scent of salt and rain-washed earth. Far below, white gulls begin to circle above the rocks, greeting the new day long before most of the world has opened its eyes. You breathe deeply. The air feels fresh. Everything feels washed clean. There is something comforting about mornings beside the sea. They remind us that every night, no matter how wild, eventually gives way to calm. You take one last look across the Atlantic. The waves continue their timeless rhythm. The lighthouse continues to shine, and you realize that while the night is ending, the peace you found here does not have to stay behind. You can carry it with you. Whenever life feels noisy, whenever your thoughts become crowded, whenever the world asks too much of you, you can return here, to this quiet lighthouse, to the warmth of the fire, to the sound of gentle waves meeting ancient rocks, to the steady turning of the lantern, and to the quiet certainty that you are safe. Now allow your breathing to become slower still. Feel the weight of the blankets around you. Let your jaw soften. Let your shoulders relax completely. Allow your thoughts to drift away like small clouds crossing the morning sky. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing more you need to do. Only rest. Only breathe. Only sleep. Thank you for spending this peaceful night with me at Quiet Ireland. Whenever you need a little calm, you will always be welcome back. good night. If you love this story, please consider subscribing for more. I'll be back next week with Irish folklore and gentle tales to help you rest. Sleep well.